Hello, Grand Rising, whatever time it is as you're listening to this or watching this.
Hello.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure you could hear me. Welcome to this week's teaching. Let's just take some big, deep breaths wherever we are at. I want you to know that you are going to get through this, however you're feeling today. Good, bad, right, or wrong. Nothing is permanent. Big, deep breaths. I love today's topic. I know that so many people right now are going through this great shift, this great transition, this shedding of layers, this opening, this up-leveling of the soul. And with that, with the shedding of layers, with the unraveling of the onion, whatever it looks like for you, there can be a lot of sensations. Those sensations might not necessarily be comfortable. But I want you to know that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're moving through, it's all going to be okay. I'm really excited for today's teaching because it's such an integral part of life, the spiritual healing journey, the evolution of the soul. And for those of you who are like me, who are ready to step into your highest timeline, who are feeling this great shift on the earth, this evolution of society, of humanity, of the way of being here on the world, who are maybe even feeling called to lead, to be a beacon of light for others who are awakening, who are moving into their higher state of consciousness. It can feel like a lot. The thing I've learned more than anything in this entire life is that nothing is permanent. And that as we make the declaration to step in to the highest parts of ourselves, that there are certain parts of ourselves, certain ways of being, certain habits, certain relationships, certain mindsets that simply can't come with us. Pieces and parts of our ego, of our identity, of our human, that we need to grieve, that we need to say goodbye to, that we have to shed and allow ourselves to step into the new. And I think that because there's so much going on, that what our ego intrinsically does is it grasps, it clings for all of the things that feel familiar, that feel comfortable, that keep us safe. And I want to remind you as we move into this journey together that the one place that you are always safe is when you turn within. It's nothing in this external world. There's no ritual, no routine, no relationship, no substance, nothing that will ever create the safety that you are seeking that is outside of yourself. Hi, Amber. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for joining. Every single thing that you need to find and cultivate safety is within you. It's in the here and now. When we step out of all of the thoughts of our mind, all the creations of the past, all the old ways of being, that we find that safety. And so as we move into this today, I want you to remember that you always have the safety here within. I want you to start to notice the things in your life that you have been clinging to. As I have been meditating, you guys know that I'm on this protocol every day. I not only do 60 minutes of hot yoga, but I'm doing 2 hours of deep meditation. I'm staying away from processed foods. I'm limiting myself to 15 minutes social media, and that's only work related every day. I'm limiting myself to not having any external influences from media. What it's allowed me to do is see every single piece and part of myself that is not serving my highest calling, that is not serving the alignment with my soul, the alignment of the desires and dreams that I have had, that I have held on to. The knowing deep within of who, of what I am, of what I'm meant to do here on earth. I am now seeing every single piece and part of me that I need to grieve, that I need to let go of, because those pieces and parts of me cannot come to where I'm going. I've let go of relationships. I've let go of habits. I've let go of distractions. There were so many things pulling me away from my light and my truth that I wasn't even aware of until I took this time. It's been 18 days now to really be within myself fully. And it's in doing that that you start to notice all the ways that your mind, that your ego creates these stories, these thought patterns, these ideas of what is keeping you safe. And you have to be able to breathe, to pause, to say, wait a second, that's not necessarily true. Nothing here is permanent, but I'm always safe when I turn within. Me losing this, me letting go of this, me grieving this does not make me any less, does not make me any less safe, does not make me any less worthy, does not make me any less capable. But it's in going into that uncomfortability that we allow ourselves to grow, to evolve. Now, many of us, I know for me, this is where I was at on my journey for a long time, the great void, the integration process. So many of us that are becoming really tuned into that higher state of consciousness have had a really hard human existence so far. We've allowed our mind, our ego, our traumas to run the show for a very long time. I know the transition for me from stepping out of survival and into a place of being, of higher consciousness, felt very scary. Because for 30 years, all I knew was survival. I was resourceful as fuck. I could turn the grossest, nastiest, darkest situation into pure gold. I could hustle all day long. I could survive anything. But there came a time and a place when my nervous system had had enough. When my divine feminine was ready to create that safety, to have that nurturance, to have that grace. Letting go of my survivor, of my resilient one, of my one that would never quit, even when it was in my best interest, was so terrifying for me because I was a master of pain. I was a self-proclaimed masochist for way longer than I like to admit. I know how to turn pain into pleasure. I no longer desire that in my heart. And it's when we're in this transition of all of the ways we used to be, of all of the things we knew. Well, if I am not this person who enjoys pain, if I am not this survivor, I am not this constantly resourceful, constantly resilient one, then what am I? Who am I? What am I? What do I embody if I am in a space of safety, a space of creation, a space of higher consciousness, a space of expansion? And that's when the ego starts to kick in and it starts to tell you all these stories, and you want to cling and you want to grasp for all the things that once brought you comfort, all the habits, all the types of relationships, even the relationships, right? When we know pain, we often go to relationships that create trauma, pain, fear. When we know pain, we often love that feeling of having to hustle, of having to create, of whatever our edge is for wealth, for safety, for security. We love getting there every time. And it's in that place, that void, that spaciousness of, well, that no longer feels good to me, but I don't know who the fuck I am over here. That feels scary too. So what do I do here? And so many people get stuck here and they kind of go into this nothingness. They kind of dissolve, and like the butterfly going through its transformation process, they become the goo, but they never start to pull themselves back together, which is where that divine masculine energy that creates the structure that starts to put you back together piece by piece, totally anew. That's where that comes in. And we have to be able to step out of that place of nothingness, of void, and start forging that path of who I am now. And again, the ego gets stronger. Well, you don't know how to be this way. And then other people's voices, well, this isn't who you are. Oh my God, you've changed. Who are you now? What is this now? And you have to be able to silence it all. And again, go within. to be able to sit with yourself in the darkness and the discomfort and the light and the joy, and to not let any of it change you. Now, a lot of people talk about all of the ways that we don't want to be controlled or molded by negative naysayers, opinions, or approval. But the same goes with praise and validation. I see so many healers, coaches, mentors out there who are constantly looking for their next like, their next point of validation, right? And that's slowly molding them too. We don't want to conform and we don't want to rebel. We want to find our center, our truth. And that is the scariest place to be, because there is no path to follow. Your path of your highest self, of your calling, of your purpose is not going to look like anyone else's. There is no blueprint for what you divine one, are going to do, are creating, are desiring, are wanting to be. It's all you. And it can be a really terrifying thing to say, oh my God, it's all me. My reactions are me. The way I respond to that person is me. What I choose to create is me. All the past cycles, that was me. It can be really scary, or it can be really empowering. Well, if it's me, that means I have a semblance of control. Now, it might not feel like I do. It might feel uncomfortable. It might feel very sensational. But I always have a choice. There's always a point where I get to choose. And this is the other part I want to talk about, where so many people get so hyper fixated on all the ways of the past. You cannot solve a problem. You cannot create a better future from the past. You're taking in all of those old energies and you're trying to create a new with it. We can't do that. We have to create from the here and now. The only time that we get new, innovative information is in the present moment. This is where I see a lot of people want to create, want to build all of these things, and they get so stuck because they have this idea, they feel it in their body, they want to manifest it, they're going to create all this stuff, and then they look at their bank account or their business transactions or the bills, and they are like, but I felt it, I know it, I see this. And it's because we get stuck on the how, because the past us has all of these ideas of how it should look, how it should feel, how it should be. None of that matters. When you are creating a new reality, when you are in that place of soul evolution, nothing stays the same, not even the how. And so you have to expect miracles. That's why that is my constant tagline. Breathe deep and plan on miracles, not plan on some preconceived notion or idea that you had in the past, not plan on some way somebody else told you that it would happen. Expect miracles. Something that's awe-inspiring, that you never could have imagined. It's knowing what you want, knowing who you are, what you are, feeling it in your body, and living life as if it's happening for you, not based on the ways of the past or the ways of the old. We are constantly evolving and changing. Every single soul inside your body is brand new. You might have the same name as the person that was born on your birthday. You might not even resemble old childhood pictures a little bit in the mirror, but every single cell in your entire body is different. You are not the person you were moments ago, not the person you were yesterday, definitely not the person you were last year. And if you take a moment to reflect on that, you'll see the way you've constantly changed and evolved. We have to surrender. It's that trust fall. A lot of people think surrendering is that place of nothing. Well, I'm just going to let it happen for you. That's not it. Surrender is so conscious and intentional. Surrender is knowing what you are, who you are, what you are creating, and living life as if it's happened for you, being constantly inspired and in awe of all of the ways it's showing up. You don't know how your biggest, wildest dreams are going to come true. You just know they are. It's when you start looking for the how, for the justification, for the evidence, that we get stopped in our track. And that's where I see so many people fall back into old habits and patterns of hustle, of grind, of trying to force someone to like or love them. It's just like, let it be. Know deep within yourself that you are worthy, that you are enough, and that it is happening for you. Now, I know as I'm saying this, there's a lot of you who aren't quite there yet. I'm not speaking to those of you who haven't worked through your trauma, your shadows, who haven't fully stepped into and reparented your inner child. When you're there, when I say these things, it can feel very frustrating. I know that because I've been there. I've been in that place where somebody's been like, just allow yourself to live this way, allow yourself to be in this safety. But my inner child was still screaming and raging because her needs hadn't been met. This is not the time for you to do that. This is the time for you to step in and do that deep inner work of reparenting, of looking at your shadows, of becoming aware. I'm talking about the people who have been on this journey with me, who are stepping into that higher conscious, who are devoting the time every day to be in a state of mindfulness, who are devoting the time to investing the time in themselves to meditate daily. And I'm being very specific here, because taking the time every day to transcend your circumstances by going into a deep meditative state for an hour or two, that's a fucking investment. That is an investment you can only make if you are very serious about where you are going. It's not an investment you can make if you're still trying to silence that voice that is screaming at you for attention. And I want you to realize and understand that. And I have a ton of resources. My inner child oracle cards, my do-it-yourself workshop, my shadow play workshop. I have all these workshops, courses, tools that you can use to get yourself there. And if you are there, this is the hiccup that we need to get over. Understanding that nothing is permanent and you are still safe. Understanding that there are pieces and parts of you that you cannot take with you where you are going, not because they were bad or wrong, but because they don't serve the person you are evolving into. We have to be able to let go. Those habits that you think are keeping you safe, I'll tell you, and this might ruffle some feathers, that's okay, but for the last 12 years, up until 7 months ago, I loved cannabis. It was my medicine. And guys, honestly, it helped me so much. It helped me with my PTSD. It helped me regulate my nervous system. It helped me get through some of my hardest nights. If you're still there, that's okay. But one day, my higher self said to me, you deserve to see who you are without this. You deserve clarity, and who you are becoming can no longer be that daily medicinal user. And I said, okay. I did the same thing 3 years ago with alcohol. I did the same thing with my obsession with self-healing, with constantly, guys, I was reading 3 self-help books every single week. I had so many ways that I was trying to get myself to that place of comfort, and I had to let them go. Now, this protocol that I'm in right now, this 30 days of nothing outside of me, it has rocked me to my core. Today on day 18, I am finally breathing a little bit more spaciously. I am opening up to new parts of myself. I'm still grieving these parts that I was like, oh, but I wanted that. That didn't seem so harmful. But I see now the ways that it did hinder my light. I see now how I can be in the flow as I'm truly in and of myself, my higher consciousness, connected to that source in the present moment. I can now see abundance everywhere. And I want you guys to take a moment with me. I want you to see the abundance that is available to you in your life. Let's take, for example, this pen. Grab something in your life that you can be grateful for. I'm grateful for this pen. I am grateful that this pen allows me to take my thoughts and ideas and put them to paper. I'm grateful for the people who have made this pen. I'm grateful for the materials that have come into this pen. I'm grateful for the paper that I can write on with this pen. I'm grateful for the ideas and creations that went into creating this paper, whoever invented the process of creating paper, the people right now who are creating the paper and putting it into this journal. I just came up with 20 different things that I'm grateful for, all surrounding this pen. That is abundance. Abundance is the ability to breathe in air in this moment. As a cancer survivor, I know what a privilege it is for me to be alive and breathing today. The fact that you are sitting here in front of me breathing, you are so abundant. And it's when you can step into that present moment abundance, when you can look around you and be in awe and wonder of the creations here and now, and not think about all of the ways of the past or all of the clinging tos of the ideas that you want, and simply step into the how you want to feel, tuning into that higher purpose, knowing that nothing ever stays the same and you are still safe. That's where the magic happens. That's where the power happens. That's where everything in your life starts to flow. That's where you start to arise into your fullness. We don't need to have judgment for ourselves or anyone else along the way. This is a totally judgment-free space. Love and compassion for wherever you are at. Your journey is not going to look at mine. The things you grieve and give up are not going to look like mine. I'm simply using my journey as an example for how I've gotten here, and hoping that it awakens in you something that you see that is still holding you back, something you see that you are clinging to that is creating suffering for you, something outside of yourself that you are giving the power away to. It's when you can come into that deep level of wholeness and being completely fulfilled in and of yourself, that all the greatest desires of your heart start to be created. And this new earth that we are stepping into, you guys, I've seen it, I have felt it, I know it. And it is beautiful. And it is heart-centered. And it is a place of love, compassion, oneness, equality, a place that we have dreamed of. But it's not just going to happen for us. It's not just going to fall out of the sky. There's not some finger that's going to snap and everything's going to be different. It's us, the collective, that by doing this work that I'm speaking about facing our trauma, about taking our power, about coming into that place of present mindfulness, conscious creation, we are the ones creating heaven on earth. It's us. The shift we are waiting for is us. It's all of us. It's why I'm here every single week sharing meditation, sharing teachings, not for me, for all of us. As I heal myself, I heal the world. As I share this, and maybe you take a moment to go back into your higher consciousness, you heal the world. That is how this works. And I'm here, I'm witnessing you every step of your journey. I'm witnessing you in your grief of the old. I'm witnessing you in your courage standing in the new. I am witnessing all of the ways that you just get up every single day and choose to create from love, even if all that means is you woke up and decided to be alive today. Because every single one of you are a gift to this world in your present state and in what you're evolving into. And I want you to know that with the fullness of your heart, to believe that and to feel that. This week's meditation, which I'll release tomorrow, is going to help you sink into a deeper level of gratitude and abundance, to allow you to see the miracles that are being created for you if you can let go of all the ways of the past telling you how it should be, and simply step into the place of being inspired, in awe, and surprised by the universe every single day. I love you. I'm so grateful you are here with me today. Give yourself a big squeeze. Remember to breathe deeply and consciously as you move through this period, and know that you're always safe when you tune within. Bye, guys. Plan on miracles. Have a beautiful day.